What is up, everybody? It's Sean from S&S Customs Limited. I'm in the shop. It's Sunday and man, it's cold outside today. Good thing we're in here in the nice little warm shop, and today I'm working on this beautiful 1960 pan head. Last night I went and finished up the fender. I'm going to show you guys this fender that we made. I've got a King style Sportster gas tank on there that I'm going to rework and make it my own, so when it's painted it looks a little bit more special than just your stock King Sportster tank. The reason I'm running a King is because the fuel capacity, obviously the 2.2 gallon tanks are great and they look awesome, but I want to be able to ride this thing for, you know, a good amount of time between fuel fill-ups. Anyways, I'm going to get the gas tank mounted today. I'll show you this fender that I finished last night. There's still a little bit of welding to do, but anyways, that's one I smoothed out on the power hammer. And just to show you guys, I need to do a little bit more shaping to it and should be done. But I like it. I like the way it sits on the bike. It's going to be a good addition to this build. It's going to be a nice clean bike. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to get the gas tank mounted. Hopefully I can take you guys with me over onto the lathe and spin up a couple of bungs. I'll show you how I mount these tanks. It's pretty easy. Don't know what I'm gonna do for the rear mount yet because I wanted to do a through bolt thing. So you're gonna probably we're probably gonna take a piece of 3/4 inch solid round stock 1018, and what I'm gonna do is drill either side of the frame, but we gotta make sure that that it's not going like this or this. We want it to go straight through. So when we put our through mount in, that's threaded, that the tank sits perfectly straight on the backbone. I do have a tool for that, but I just don't know if I can get it on. I don't know if I can get it on the bike with the engine in place. If not, it's not a big deal. There are ways that we can figure this out and get it to drill through straight. Anyways, that's the video today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff. Nice little pan head coming up. Stay tuned. All right, so the first thing we have to do before we mount the tank is we have to measure our distance to know how wide to make our bungs to mount to the chassis. When you're doing this, be careful. Make sure you add an allowance for powder coating or chroming. If you don't do that, what's going to happen is your bike is going to fit up beautifully in raw material, but then once all the paint and powder coat and chrome and stuff gets applied to the parts to make them all looking snazzy, you start to lose space, and then stuff that fit perfect before doesn't fit anymore. We powder coat at the shop. We have a big oven and we powder coat all our parts here. So I know the thickness of the powder, when to lay it or how to lay it. So I know what the thickness usually is for how I'm applying the powder coat. So what I'm gonna do is I'll measure across here and I will get a reading on the calipers. And then what I'll do is I'll knock probably a 1/16 off of each side. So when you go to mount the tank, it fits snugly up against the powder coat and paint. Don't forget, this is also going to be painted, or actually we're going to powder coat this gas tank and we're going to give it to our buddy to paint over. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure this guy and then the bottom guy. They should pretty much be the exact same, but we'll check. And we'll leave our 1/16 of an inch, 0.65 wall per side. And then that way you're guaranteed to have a good fitting gas tank once everything has been applied. That's really important, and a lot of newbies don't realize that. People that are building bikes in their garage and stuff, and then what you're doing, what you're contending with after is you're trying to bend tabs and stuff like that. And once you get to that point, then you take the risk of cracking the paint or causing damage or something like that, or hitting the tank, and to try to get it to fit the bike and stuff. Trust me, I've been there. I've done just about everything. I've ruined stuff. Stuff has gone extremely well. Stuff has gone extremely bad. And that's just part of building choppers. But the good thing about it, each one you build, you're gonna get better and better and better. And little things are gonna stick. You're gonna say, oh yeah, the last time that got the better end of me. This time, I'm not gonna let it do that. So that's just a little piece of information I share with you for powder coat and paint, usually a 16th on either side, 0.65. And that's it. I'll be back. I'll show you how I'm gonna make the mounts. All right, so I've gone ahead and measured this. For this one here, I've got roughly about 2.68 to 2.7 inches of width. So this one here is 2.38, so it's a good thing we measured. So what I'll do is I'll probably make this like I'll make the bar across like 2.32, and the other one on the top, the 2.68 one, I'll probably make it like 2.62. And then what that'll do is it'll fit loosely in bare metal, but once everything, like I said, is all painted, powder coated, and chromed, it'll still fit on the bike with no issues at all. So those are the measurements I got, 2.68 on the upper mount, 2.38 on the lower mount. Let's just get to it. Let's start machining the parts we need to mount this tank, and hopefully we get this tank mounted today. Cheers, stay tuned. All right, so when you're building choppers, like, some people are gonna look at your work really close, and symmetry is really important. So I've zeroed out this gauge on the bike. I've put my drill jig on the backbone where I want it to be for the gas tank. This is a drill jig we built, well, I can't remember if we built it or bought it a few years ago, and it's got a pilot hole, and it just clamps on to stuff, really simple. But we've zeroed this out, and then if I'm lucky, I've got that at 0. So what that's gonna tell me is that my drill bit is gonna go straight through the backbone, through this guy straight. And then once I have my pilot done, I can drill the hole out to 3/4 of an inch or 5/8, and then weld in my mounting bracket for my gas tank that we measured over there, the 2.38 one. That's gonna be the lower one. So anyways, just little tricks like that are gonna help you keep everything straight. There are drill jigs and stuff like that you can buy. Anyway, stay tuned. We're gonna drill a hole through this bike. Okay, so I've got my jig set up. I've got the drill bit I'm gonna use, and I'm getting ready to drill through the backbone. Remember to put a little dab of oil on your drill bit when you're going through, and just go through slow. We're gonna lay a cloth over the engine just so no shavings and stuff get on it. And what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? Well, the worst thing that can happen is you drill the hole crooked. Okay, if that happens, we've got welders and stuff like that. We can re-weld the holes and re-drill. But that's why it's always really, really important to measure. You know, the keep choppers sketchy term is just, I don't like it, because I think choppers should be built with precision and accuracy, just like every performance motorcycle. And I think they should be there for us to hop on, knowing that they're going to carry us from point A to point B, and we're going to enjoy ourselves while we're riding these things. Because when we ride these machines, they're just an extension of our own personalities. We build these for us, And that's where custom motorcycles and so on and so forth kind of tell you what that person's into, whether it's a paint job or the frame layout or anything like that. So they, like I said, they're big extensions of our personalities. So take your time, measure twice, and keep choppers not sketchy. Just have fun building, and if you don't have the answer, there's tons of guys. There's guys like myself, and there's literally hundreds of people out there that you can call if you don't know, if you're stuck or stumped like that. It's a small community. We're all here for one another. So now, I'll just say that, because it is like that. I'm gonna drill this hole now, so just hang 10. All right, for those that don't know, and I know you guys do know because you're smart, because you tune into S&S Customs channel, this is your stepper bit, okay? So each increment, it goes from, see if I can read this, 1/8, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, ½ inch, 9/16, and 5/8, 11/16, and 3/4. Well, I think 5/8 is ample enough for a gas tank mount. And as you drive this in, it's going to make a hole the size that it penetrates. So I'm gonna mark, what I do is I mark where I wanna be with black Sharpie, and then I stop there. And if you can, I'll show you, you take a deburring tool after you're done, because you don't wanna leave any burrs on the inside, because you may have to slip a few wires through. There's not a whole lot of wires going on this bike, and I like to run mine externally in like nice loom, and then that way it's that much more serviceable than hiding wires, but we will sneak a few wires through there when we get building. I'm gonna start drilling holes. All right, up next, I'm gonna machine this mount. This is the mount that's going to go through the hole that we just made into our frame. And a lot of people ask questions. They say, once you drill a hole through the frame, through the backbone like that, doesn't it weaken the frame? And absolutely not once you weld this piece in. If you were just to drill a hole through a frame and leave the holes unwelded, or just drilled and tapped your gas tank on, that's where you may run into issues depending on the riding, the roads, the work hardening and everything of the bike. So this here, we're gonna fill the hole, we're gonna weld around it, and it's gonna be just as strong, if not even stronger than it was just with the bare tube. So stay tuned. I'm gonna machine this part, and I'm gonna put it onto the bike. All right, so we've got our piece machined on the lathe. I just showed you in the time lapse. we've threaded these, and people may say, well, why don't you just put a through bolt and symmetry is when I'm building choppers. So there's nothing wrong with the through bolt, but now I can get 2 button heads or stainless steel Allen heads that look the same on either side, because you would either have to put a hex head with a nut or an Allen head or a button head with a nut. And this way you have symmetry. So there's 2 fasteners that look the exact same. So that's why I made it like that. These are threaded. These are going to fit into our hole. Show you that in a second. Stay tuned. All right. So this is how this works. It's gonna go in here and it's gonna get TIG welded in place. There's a little bit of room, wiggle room, just so we can zero everything out, just in case one hole doesn't line up. Our holes fortunately lined up perfectly, so we're going to weld this into place. And stay tuned. I'm gonna pull the welder out and get this tigged up, and then what it'll allow us to do is we can now put a bolt with a washer in here and hold our tank. We do need to make some pieces because there weren't any rubber grommets that came with the gas tank, so I'll check in the box, maybe there is, but we'll make sure that everything's gonna fit up perfect. All right, so we have liftoff on the project. I got the tank mounted. The last piece I'm just gonna do, just because I'm gonna end this video because it's getting rather long, but we've got the tank right where I want it. I wanted it Frisco style, so half the backbone is exposed. And I'm gonna put a secondary, I had a good idea. I'm gonna put a secondary fuel valve in conjunction with my primary fuel valve, and I'm gonna do something funny on the paint job for it, show you guys when it's done. But anyways, there's the tank. I'm gonna flip the camera around. I'm gonna show you what I did, and I'm gonna show you the last mount that needs to be welded into place. So hang 10. All right, so this is what I mean by Frisco mount. So the camera's gonna shake. So your tank is mounted up high, like that. So the angle of the tank. I like it. I'm gonna do some other stuff with it and stuff like that. Anyways, to show you, this is one of the mounts. See if you can see that. That's not welded into place. We need to coat that to get it at the right height. Probably gonna screen the tunnel in just to make it more cosmetically pleasing. And underneath there is, if we can focus, there's your mounts for your lower mount on your right and left hand side. So we'll just let that come into focus. There we go. So there, it's all done. Except for welding, which I'm gonna do off camera. Cheers. All right, so that wraps up today. It's getting hot in here. I've got my King Sportster tank mounted. That was a lot of fun. I like the gas tanks up high like that. Like, you know, people call them tough guy bikes or something like that, Frisco. Anyways, the gas tank has 4 points of contact. Our oil tank's gonna have 4 points of contact, and our rear fender's gonna have 4 to 5 points of contact with it. So it shouldn't go anywhere. Probably what I'm gonna do is mount the rear fender. I just haven't decided. I'll show you guys this. I made this a little while back. I like it. It's these are on our website. So it's a license plate bracket with LED cat's eye tail light with one of our machined like remote oil filters. So you can put your oil filter, it's all machined, custom in the shop. So you can put your oil filter, it's remote, easy to change, and you have an inlet and an outlet. I was gonna use that on this, but I'm not sure about the strut situation because I wanted to kind of make nice, kind of like soft tail looking struts coming off that. If I do that, then I don't have the spot to mount this. But I can always find a different spot. I do like this part. It's got really cool tool path. They get powder coated, high gloss black. It's just a cool part. Anyways, I might run it, might not run it. I might save it for another build. That's today's video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, hit the bell. There was a little bit of more fabrication, more welding, and a little bit of more time on the lathe. I apologize. I have to do that in time lapse because those are 15-minute intervals there that the video would just be too long. If you do have any questions about what I'm doing or the technique or how I'm doing stuff, just feel free, leave a message down in the bottom in the comments, and please remember to keep the comments respectful. Thanks, have a good day, and I hope you all have a great work week.